Team mobbing. When I come around, got the whole thing wobbing. Wobbing. When I come around, got the whole thing wobbing.
You know, there's really no good way to go about this. I didn't know how I wanted to make this video. I didn't know how I wanted it to start out. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Star Wars The Last Jedi sucked. But before I get into my review and my opinion on why I hated the movie, if you guys are new to this channel and you like what you see, go ahead and click that subscribe button and click the little bell icon so that you can be notified of everything that I do on this channel. The video is going to contain spoilers. The movie's been out for over a week now, so if you guys haven't seen it yet, I suggest watching at your own risk. Since 2015, we have been waiting for this movie to happen. Before it was even called The Last Jedi, we were all excited to see what was going to happen after The Force Awakens. And then the title of the movie was revealed, and the text was in red, and everybody was making this big deal about it, saying, oh my god, this has never been done before, the text has always been in yellow, now it's in red, this movie's gonna be great! And was it great? Nah, it wasn't. Okay, in The Force Awakens, everything that was set up in that movie to be explained in this movie was just shit on. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the #1 thing that bugged me in this movie, and that was the way they treated the character of Luke Skywalker. So for those of you that remember, at the end of The Force Awakens, Rey happens to find Luke Skywalker on an island. In the last few seconds of the movie, she extends her arm out to hand Luke Anakin's lightsaber, the one that he lost in Empire Strikes Back when he got his hand chopped off. And then the movie just ends like that. So in The Last Jedi, when they pick up where that scene left off, I was in the theater, I was just like, okay, what's he gonna do with it? I'm so excited. Everybody was wondering, what is he gonna do with that lightsaber when Rey hands it to him? What's he gonna do with it? Well, he just chucks it over his shoulder like it was nothing. Like nothing. And I'm in the theater, I'm like, what? Seriously? 2 years of waiting on this and you just throw it over your shoulder? That's all you do? That's all you have to say after all this time, not, where did you find this? Even in The Force Awakens, Han Solo was like, where did you get that? I haven't seen that since I used it to cut open a tauntaun and save Luke from freezing to death. Actually, he didn't say that, but he really did say, you know, where did you get that? And Maz Kanata says, that's another story for another time. There was this big story in The Force Awakens about how Luke was training Kylo Ren to be a Jedi. Kylo Ren turned on him, he killed all of Luke's pupils, he burnt the temple down. This is what they did. Kylo Ren was asleep, Luke started to sense that he was going to be evil, and for a fraction of a second, Luke was going to kill him. So he turns on his green lightsaber. By the way, I got a little happy when Luke turned on the green lightsaber because I've been waiting for that for a while. I was like, okay, does he have the green lightsaber still? Is he going to turn it on? And he did, and I like that. Kylo Ren wakes up, sees Luke standing over him with his ignited lightsaber, and then he pretty much force pushes Luke away and burns the whole temple down. Luke Skywalker would never do that, okay? Luke Skywalker would never think of killing anybody like that, let alone his nephew. This is the guy that sensed that tiny, tiny little sliver of good in Darth Vader and was willing to risk his life just to prove that Darth Vader was still good, just to bring out the rest of that good in Darth Vader. And you're telling me he senses for a second that this kid is going to be evil and he wants to kill him? That is the most un-Luke Skywalker thing ever. And then at the end of the movie, Luke shows up on that salt planet to help the Resistance, right? Okay, he comes up to Leia and he kind of makes peace with her. A little teary-eyed when that happened because I've been waiting for those two to have a scene together since The Force Awakens, and it never happened until right now. However, I still wanted a scene with him, Han, and Leia all in one scene. Never got it. This was good enough. Pretty much makes peace with Leia, and he goes outside to take on Kylo Ren and that huge-ass army of fucking Imperial walkers that are behind him. And like, they all just fucking open fire on Luke. And when all the salt dust clears and shit, you see Luke just like, everything that I've hated about this movie so far is about to be forgiven because Luke is about to do some badass shit. So Kylo Ren finally appears, right? He runs at Luke full speed with his lightsaber, and like, Luke is just like dodging everything. I'm like, okay, Luke is gonna make him look really stupid before he just fucking unleashes his awesomeness. Never happened. Find out a few minutes later that Luke's not even really there on that planet. He's using a force projection of himself to be on that planet. And I thought something was up for a second because like, why would Luke stop and get a haircut and shave and color his beard before going to save the Resistance? Kind of weird, but whatever. You want to look presentable when you haven't seen your sister for 35 plus years. And then he just fucking dies. Like, he just dies. He was so weak from doing that he just became one with the Force and disappeared. Like, he didn't even do anything in this movie except drink titty milk and catch fish and give Rey a Force lesson for like 1 day. And then there's goddamn Snoke, who in The Force Awakens was portrayed to be this major villain, this almost Emperor Palpatine like villain. There's that huge theory that he was Darth Plagueis somehow. That he had somehow brought himself back to life, brought himself back from the dead, and that's who he was. In this movie, we're like, okay, we're finally gonna get to see more of Snoke, we're gonna learn more about him. No, he just dies. He just dies. You mean to tell me that you are this all-powerful being, that you are pretty much the next Emperor Palpatine, you are like the darkest Sith Lord of this generation of Star Wars movies, and you cannot sense that Kylo Ren was using the Force to turn that lightsaber that is 5 inches away from you? Really? And another thing, if you don't actually have any use for Finn in this movie, then don't put him in the movie. They had some stupid-ass side mission in this movie where Finn, Poe, and some Asian chick went to this casino planet to try and find a hacker to break into the first one. I don't know, honestly. I don't even remember why they even went to that planet. I just remember they were abusing animals, and it was really sad, and you learned about activism and veganism and all that kind of shit. I don't remember. And what the fuck was up with Princess Leia? Kylo Ren is in his ship, and he's flying to where she's at, and he hesitates for a second. He's gonna kill her. And he's like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I already killed my dad. I can't kill my mom too. So he flies away. Well, the TIE fighters do it for him, okay? They blow that whole room away that her and everybody else is in, and you see her get sucked out into space. Like, she's fucking dead. She's dead. And I'm sitting in the theater, I'm like, oh, well, shit, I did not see that coming. Okay, that's, okay. Whatever, fine, okay, cool. No. Not even 2.5 minutes later, she's floating in space. Gravity's playing a role at this point makes no sense when they just dropped a shit ton of bombs on a ship in outer space earlier. Whatever. All of a sudden, outstretches her hand and fucking Mary Poppins her way back to the ship. And I'm like, okay, that's, what the fuck? Okay, I know Leia's Force sensitive, okay? I know she is. But she's never actually used the Force that much, except for in Empire Strikes Back, when she kind of communicated telepathically with Luke for like a second. Honestly, I didn't even like that scene with Yoda. Pretty much Luke is going to burn down this tree that contains all of the Jedi books and all the Jedi artifacts because, you know, it's time for the Jedi to end. Then he kind of has second thoughts. He's like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. And then Yoda shows up. And he's like, let them have you? Page turners, they are not. And then Yoda somehow summons the lightning from Thor and burns the tree down. Okay, fine. That was a pointless scene. You know, I would rather have had Anakin in this movie as a Force ghost. At least talk to Luke. Or talk to Kylo Ren and be like, look, asshole, you're doing the same shit that I did so many years ago. When Rey learns what happened between Luke and Kylo Ren from Kylo Ren, Rey attacks Luke. Okay? Rey gets the upper hand and defeats Luke. You mean to tell me that Rey has had the Force for like 2 days, okay? And she gets the upper hand on Luke Skywalker? Luke motherfucking Skywalker. Like, I'm a huge Star Wars fanboy, okay? I love Star Wars just as much as I love Power Rangers. I'm not mad because I was one of those fanboys that had a theory that was expecting something epic. I'm not mad about that. I understand change. I was fine with them killing off Luke Skywalker. I really was. I'm mad that you made Luke Skywalker go out like a bitch. He went out like a straight up bitch in this movie. I don't know, guys. I'm just really, really disappointed by this movie. It didn't have the emotional punch that Force Awakens had. It just wasn't as good as Force Awakens. Let me know what you guys thought about Star Wars The Last Jedi. Put it down in the comments below, and I will see you next time.